Today we're working with one of the hardest leathers in the world to work with and lining it with the most beautiful French goat skin I've ever used. Back to the channel and let's make a glazed crocodile and Auran goat skin card holder. And this knife is absolutely phenomenal. I won it in a giveaway from Ibex Leatherworks and I am in love. So let's get to it. So glazed crocodile is probably the hardest leather you can work with. It is ridiculously tough. And it's tough because of the glazing process. They use what's called a glazing jack. This uses either a jade or a glass cylinder to heat and compress the leather fibers. Really hard leather. Looks beautiful, quite difficult to care for, and if you touch it wrong, it is completely ruined. It marks so fast. So as you'll see, I'm being rather careful with how I'm touching this leather. I've overcut everything because I want there to be a little bit of leather around what's going to be the pattern so that I can actually touch it without needing to wear gloves. Because if you touch glazed crocodile wrong, it's game over. Though you can't send the product out, it's immediately ruined. And I know I'm gonna get comments asking, well, why would someone pay lots of money for a card holder that you can't touch? Because when you touch it as the client, it is your piece. I'm using a water-based adhesive, an EcoSar 16 PIU, and I'm fully laminating this goat skin to it. Now, I didn't film the splitting, I'm sorry about that, but I've split the 1.6mm goat skin down to 0.8. I can't split the crocodile. If I had a mechanical and electric splitter, I could, but I don't have one because I don't have £10,000 to spend on one. If you would like to send me £10,000, you're more than welcome to. I will not say no to that. But this is a beautiful goat skin to work with. Auran is known to be probably the best goat skin in the world, and I love it for basically anything. It's the only leather I use to line anything with. Normally in my videos, if you're a subscriber, if you're not, you need to subscribe now, but if you're a subscriber, you'll know that I use a little bit of double-sided tape on the back of my patterns, and that is to hold it still. Another reason to subscribe is because I'm going to be doing a review of this knife. It'll be my first product review and I cannot wait to show you, so don't forget to click the subscribe button for that as well. But back to this pattern. So normally I use a little bit of double-sided tape to hold it in place on the leather, and that is just because if the pattern slips, I ruin the piece. With glazed crocodile, you cannot do this. The adhesive on the back of the double-sided tape, the adhesive that is the tape, will mark it. So you have to be really careful and not move the pattern. You could use a roundel or a scratchel or something. For the record, a roundel and a scratchel is the same thing. That is my cat. But you could use one. However, I don't actually like using an awl, because if you cut directly around your pattern is cut out, and that is your Bible. If you make a awl mark around your pattern, it's almost impossible to accurately cut it, and you will end up with some overcut or some undercut, and it won't be identical to the design that you have created. Now, these pockets are slightly thicker than I would normally go, simply because I couldn't split down the crocodile. This is the front pocket. I'm not doing a fully crocodile card holder, just because that would be quite difficult to use with a glazed crocodile, simply because of the stiffness of it. So I'm only doing the front pocket as the glazed crocodile. The rest of it, the T-slot is not lined, but the cash slot in the middle is going to be lined. And I've mixed a really beautiful Unitas edge paint, and it's a sort of turquoisey blue color, which took me a little while to figure out how to do, and I had to get some help with that because I can't mix colors to save my life. If you have any advice about mixing colors, do let me know in the description box, in the comment section below. but Uniters is the only edge paint I use. It finishes the edge beautifully. You can heat it, both to heat it into the leather. I get a lot of questions, by the way, of why do you heat edge paint after the first application. So when you first put edge paint on, it sits on the actual leather. It soaks in a little bit, but not a lot. The biggest problem that you will have with edge paint if you're used to burnishing and you're trying to move into the luxury leather world is edge paint can peel if you don't heat it, because it's just kind of sitting on top of the leather. I use quite a hot iron. This is set to 8 on my Regard, and the heat will melt the paint, which is fully dry, further into the fibers and reduces the likelihood and increases the time it takes to peel off. Edge paint will always eventually peel off. It's just the way it works. It will eventually peel off, but it's repairable. Luxury is repairable, as the founder of Hermes stated. Luxury is what can be repaired. When you're gluing onto the surface of Auran or any finished leather, you want to scratch off the surface, and the reason you want to scratch off the surface is because glue will not adhere properly to the finish on a non-aniline leather. So a non-aniline, what does that mean? Aniline finish is when there is not a coating on the leather. You can see all of the leather. A non-aniline leather means that the top surface of the leather, the grain of the leather, has been very lightly sanded or buffed, and then a coating has been applied. Why do they do that? It increases the durability of the leather and allows it to be much more consistent. With veg tan, you often want those inconsistencies, they add character. With chrome tan leather, you want more of a resistance, a resilience to the leather. I'm using a 3mm pricking iron and a 0.45mm thread for this. So I'm doing this T-slot with a white thread, and I'm going to do the rest of the card holder, the visible part of the card holder, with a matching blue thread, and it's going to be beautiful. Now don't forget to tap down your stitches, simply because you will feel you won't feel it through glazed crocodile. You won't feel anything through glazed crocodile, but you will feel it through most leathers that you use. If you run your hand over the front slot or whatever leather is in front of those stitches, you'll feel those. So you always want to tap them down on that. Now, ordinarily, I don't like fully laminating the back of anything to anything. I like to leave just, I like to glue just the perimeter of whatever I'm gluing, so that if it needs to be repaired at any point, it's much easier to do that. For this, I wanted to demonstrate for you guys that actually you can create a beautiful product if you do fully laminate it. You just have to be careful with how you do it. This knife is spectacular, for the record. I do love it. I don't know if the gentleman from Ibex is watching this, but I am in love with this knife. Now, when you're embossing glazed crocodile, this video is basically a lesson on how to use glazed crocodile, which I didn't intend it to be, but here we go. When you're heat embossing with foil on glazed crocodile, you have to go quite hot, and you have to hold it for a considerable amount of time. Normally you just stamp it down quickly, you kiss it, and the foil is there. With glazed crocodile, normally I use foil at about 100 degrees. For this, I went up to 120 degrees and I held it for like 3 seconds, because you have to get through that initial glazed surface in order to foil it. So what's happening when you're foiling leather? On the back of the foil, there is an adhesive layer that is very, very, very thin. It's microscopically thin, but there's an adhesive layer that is heat activated, heat and pressure. So when you push down with your embossing machine, the heat and the pressure from that embossing machine activates that glue and makes it stick to the leather. That's how it works. With most leathers that are not glazed, you don't need a lot of heat to actually do that. Think about paper, for example. People heat emboss with foil paper all the time, and they use like 80 degrees or something. You don't need a lot of temperature. But because glazed crocodile has already been heated through the friction of the glazing process, it's quite difficult to do. One thing I do absolutely love about Auran goat is it creases beautifully. There's a lot of goat skins out there that when you crease them, they don't really stay very nicely, but you don't need a lot of heat and you do not need a lot of pressure for Auran goat. It works really, really nicely. I had someone ask me recently, why do I use a wing divider and a creaser for my stitching line? So I find it much easier to get a straight stitching line with either a 20 or a 10 tooth pricking iron if I have two lines to run parallel to. So I'll put the middle of the tooth in the one that's created by the wing divider, and I'll put that up, almost up against the line created by the creaser, and this gives me a perfectly straight line. Now because I'm punching through through the front of both, I have to line up and make sure I have an equal number of holes on the front and the back, otherwise I'm in quite a lot of trouble. When you're gluing any leather together with a contact adhesive, you need to make sure that that contact adhesive has gone completely clear before you actually try to adhere them together. Contact adhesive will be the color of the wet contact adhesive when you first put it down, and then once it's ready to stick together, it'll be clear. And the reason for that is because of the bonding the agent that's holding it all together. So in water-based adhesive it's water, in solvent-based adhesive it's solvent. Once that solvent's evaporated, or once the water has dried, the adhesive soaks into the leather, and then you stick the two surfaces of adhesive together. So that's the whole kind of mechanics behind it. This is also an M40 thread from Misi, and it's also a 3mm pricking iron which I used for the T-slot as well. But I wanted a matching stitch just because I think it looks quite a lot classier than a contrasting stitch. And if you're wondering, yes, this card holder is available for purchase. When you're tapping down your stitches, you are not just making the thread flat. You are doing that, but there's actually a bigger reason for tapping down your stitches. When they go in initially, they're quite flat, and that's because the holes are as open as the holes can be. When you tap down your stitches, you're closing those holes, the stitching holes, which forces the thread to go into the angled position of the irons, if you're using French pricking irons, that is. So you're actually closing those holes, making it last longer, and you're closing those holes, exacerbating the angle of those stitches. I get a lot of people saying, oh, I'm trying to learn saddle stitches, but my stitches are never angled. tap down your stitches because it will make a world of difference. Most beginners don't know that you need to do that. You need to tap them down. Now obviously I'm not going to show you all 5 coats of paint. That would be a waste of yours and my time. But I'm doing one relatively heavy coat. I let it set fully, I heat it, and then I do 5 more coats sanding between them. Sometimes 4, depends on the leather. So this will be the last coat of paint, and the last coat of paint is always followed by a 600 grit sanding and then a heating, a polishing. So if you get your iron, your heating iron, your creasing iron with a S0.5 tip and you heat it up to about a 5.5 on your machine, that will polish it to a shiny-ish state, a satin state if you like. If you go too hot, you'll bubble it and you'll get really shiny. Some people like to, after they've polished it with their iron, they like to go over it again with some wax and polishing cloth. You can do that and it does make it shinier. I personally like a slightly more satin finish than that, and that's why I do it in the way I do. I'm going to leave you guys with these beautiful shots. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what else do you want me to make on this channel. What else do you want to learn? Have a phenomenal week. Take care.